"74-year-old Tetenate has been a farmer since he completed his A-level education in 1979. He is involved in crop farming, livestock and fish farming on a 10-acre farm. When he started, he was initially quite dependent on chemicals and fertilizers to boost his yields. However, a conversation with a more experienced farmer changed all of that.
One old man called Awuah, he told us that, look, every morning when he cleans, the droppings of the goat, he has got particular space on the farm that he deposits those, the droppings of the goat. And he said, at that area, when he planted the maize, that particular spot, the maize did well. Then someone said, if that's the case, can't we use the poultry droppings from the poultry farms? Can't we use even cow dung and what have you? So that prompted us to go into that and start something like experimenting. And we realized that it was better than even using the chemical fertilizer.
That was Mr. Nate's initiation into agroecology, which can be defined as the application of ecological concepts and principles in farming. And he has not looked back since.
It's about the interaction between people, plants, animals, and their environment. So we are looking at how we can balance this relationship. So when you begin to apply this concept in farming, in agriculture, okay, then it means you are doing agroecology. So what that means is that it's not about the people, it's also about the plants. It's also about the animals and the environment within which all these entities, including people, operate.
So agroecology combines practices of soil moisture conservation, soil organism maintenance and conservation, and then pollination services on the farms by stopping the use of inorganic pesticides and also fertilizers. And that is why there's a strong recommendation to use organic manure, which, aside enriching your soil to give food to the plants you plant, has a long-term effect of enriching the soil and allowing other organisms to populate your farmland. Another important aspect of agroecology is also making sure you plant the right seed at the right place and at the right time.
It thrives on using natural things around you to grow what you eat. So you use manure instead of fertilizer, using the harsh fertilizer, you use manure for high yields. We use flowers, sunflowers, to get the bees to come and pollinate. We use the neem oil to also spray against pests.
With the agroecology, we also inculcate the society, the traditional society, so that it becomes a whole blend. Because these are the people who are practicing this ecological farming, and then we are using the grassroots to solve global food crisis and then climate issue. So we need to involve these people, teach them, mentor them. So I, for one, am part of the association in that I want to bring them to my farm, teach them modernized farming, and then how you can use simple tools to scale up and then to also conserve energy and then the environment. We are using traditional means to solve global issues. When you look at the commercial farms, because of their output, they use a lot of fossil fuels, a lot of machinery, yes. And then this goes a long way to harm the environment. But when you look at my own, I use mulch. Mulch, I don't sow the land. I just do my best, fertilize it with manure. Ask me why I use manure. Now, we are talking about climate change now. Manure has a lot, when manure is kept over there, the nitrogen has a lot of methane. When the nitrogen content in the manure is not used, it evaporates into the atmosphere and then form methane gas. And these are the gases that cause greenhouse effects on the environment. So when I use manure, the nitrogen content that will evaporate into methane, it is used up by the plants. Yes. So with agroecology, we are the friends of the planet.
Agroecology is good. When you spread the manure like this, that's the poultry manure onto the field, during the rainy season, the manure absorbs water and keeps it there quietly. Then when it comes to the time that the rain is not there and the plant needs the rain, it releases the water to the plant.
Edwin Bafor is with Food Sovereignty Ghana. To him, agroecology aims to ensure a well-balanced and well-functioning ecosystem.
Our ancestors produced food in an agroecological manner. So they would plant pepper here, they'll plant corn here, they'll plant cowpea, which is like a creeper. So it covers the ground and provides cover for weeds, to stop weeds from growing. But the cowpea also provides nitrogen into the soil. A lot of pests don't like pepper, so the pepper will stay away from the beans, will stay away from the corn. And sometimes they'll plant something like pumpkin, which will climb up the stalk of the corn. So you see an interbalanced ecosystem, even on that one farm.
I became interested in agroecology in 2021 when I had a piece of land at my house, so a backyard. So I started with a backyard farm where I grew different vegetables, tomatoes, garden eggs, lettuce and cabbage. But along the line I met an agronomist who had training here and also in Israel. And he introduced me to drip irrigation, even choosing the type of seeds that you need to grow to get the needed yields. And I did it. We tried it at home and it worked perfectly well. People were so much interested in the vegetables and the quality that came with it because we didn't have chemicals attached to it. The sweetness level were very high.
I didn't come from an agric background, so I started researching into how I can get the environment, I can use the things around me to produce what I want to produce. I use fish water. Now, fish water has nitrogen, phosphorus, and then potassium. So I raise fish with two intentions, for revenue and for fertigation. And then, look at me, when I also produce the fish water, ideally I'm supposed to release it into the atmosphere. It will cause pollution. But now, that is what my means of fertigation. So when I pump one water, I use it to circulate around the fish. The same water is also being used for fertigation. Now when you come to my rabbits, I raise rabbits. I started like a year ago. I've not sold even one because I need their bedding, their manure for composting. I also need their urine. So the urine serves as fertilizer so I mix it with my water, the water in my tank in a ratio of 1:5. Yes, I mix it and that's what I use. So I can do a full production without any chemical fertilizer.
It's been recognized based on research, based on experiences, and based on lessons learned from previous agriculture practices, that it has a potential to address numerous challenges within the agriculture sector. So we are looking at land degradation as one of the challenges. So we are looking at land degradation, we can talk about declined soil fertility, climate change, biodiversity loss. So this concept has the potential to address this challenge, including food insecurity, not even food and nutritional insecurity. So the health of the people. How can we improve the health of our people? That is where ECOWAS is so particular about the need to promote and invest in agroecology.
I think agroecology is quite for us as a very strategic approach to deal with the changing climate in terms of changing rainfall, changing temperatures, and other abiotic elements like the wind action and all of that. Without that, I don't think as a country that is more reliant on rain-fed agriculture, we are going to try. I know there are initiatives underway to develop irrigation systems and all that, but we are a long way from there. And really integrating soil moisture conservation, pollination services, natural organic way of farming seems to be the best approach to deal with the changes that the weather is confronted with.
When we want to change the water, every morning from the catfish, the water, the dirty water that goes to the, that we can say perhaps is waste, it's not waste. My cocoyam tells us the story. Look at how plumpy they are. Look at how beautiful they are. Because the wastewater from the fish, there is all nutrients that the plant needs, all is there. They are getting the wastewater too at the same time, plus the nutrients. So for the plants, whether it is sunny, sunny days or whatever, they still do their work, they still go on. They still, farm life is still normal, as if it is raining, as if you apply the manure.
So, clearly, for farmers like Mr. Nati, agroecology has great benefits. However, it also has its critics who, for example, point out that if most farmers adopt agroecological practices, much of the world will be plunged into famine and starvation.
People claim that agroecology cannot feed the world. They liken it to just natural farming. So in the wild, things are growing. That's not what we are talking about. In this 21st century, agroecology can feed it. There are techniques, there are skills, there are equipment, there are tools in facilitating agroecology.
Currently, as we speak, 70% of the world's food is produced by small-scale farmers, peasant farmers. Farmers that have only between 1 acre and 4 acres of land. It is not the people who have 40,000 acres who are feeding the world. It is Mami and Kweku and Kofi, when they bring their small aboboya and their wheelbarrow, we get to the farm, that's what we eat. The ones who do that big farming, it goes into produce, it goes into animal products, it goes into commercial things. But what people really eat comes from small-scale farmers. So that's a myth that agroecology cannot feed the world. They'll tell you that the population of the world is increasing, but we have arable land as far as the eye can see in Ghana. We have rivers that we are destroying. We are poisoning them with mercury and cyanide rather than using them to irrigate, feed ourselves, export what we don't need.
The yield from 1 acre can match that of the chemical or what. He doing 3 acres, you can match him, or even 2 acres, you can match him. You get a very good yield from the agroecology, unlike the one practicing other methods. You see, these days too, because of the climate change, the time you are expecting the rain is not there. The time you are expecting sunshine is raining. So with agroecology, it can balance itself. Whether it's raining, whether it is not raining, we are dry season. What I'm saying is that whether dry season or what, life still goes on the farm.
Advocates for agroecology further point out that agroecology preserves the environment and enables humans to integrate and relate better with other species, creating a system where human activities like farming do very little damage, if any, to nature.
The usual farming is about mining the soil, producing the food, and either selling or whatever it is. But agroecology is about replenishing all the time. While you are growing, it means that the soil gets richer, which is different from the usual agriculture where you dump chemicals into it, extract and abandon the land. And for us, agroecology is about people. Agroecology is something that actually gives us social support, which is just beyond the material way of looking at agriculture, where it's all about just making profits.
If agroecology is so beneficial, why are the vast majority of Ghanaian farmers not adopting its principles, leaving farmers like Mr. Nati in the minority?
It is never true. It is never true. Almost everything that you see on the market is produced by the small-scale farmer. And these are the agroecological farmers. So I don't agree one bit that we are in the minority. We are rather in the majority. I'll give you a typical example. When you give birth to a child, you have two options. Either to feed a child with breast milk or bottled milk, right? In fact, when you give birth today and you don't have even 1 peso on you, with your breast, you can feed your child. When you look at breastfed children, they look so plumpy, so healthy. There is no contamination because you are not going to prepare the breast milk in any container or any cup that will be get. It is straight from, that is how agroecology is. Look at me now. I can produce full cucumbers of 6 weeks and harvest for 6 weeks or more without any chemical fertilizer. So the difference is in terms of resistance, in terms of quality, in terms of health. There's so much chemicals and pesticides that are being applied to the food produced at the commercial rate. They poison us because a lot of people who even don't have knowledge on it and then try to use it, they don't observe the withdrawal period. They can spray today and tomorrow they are harvesting. But if you don't spray seconds on them, you don't have any cause to be sick.
You should eat and eat healthily. And when people buy things that are good, they know. So I'd advise people to go into agriculture, but not just agriculture, but go into agroecology because of the promises or the benefits thereof. So we don't do any marketing, but people who bought have told friends, and now we're unable to meet our market demand.
Experts believe that the right policy initiatives could make a significant difference and encourage more farmers to embrace agroecology.
The problem has to do with not finding that terminology in our policy document, which I agree is not there. When you take our past, ongoing, policy, investment plan and all that, you don't find agroecology there. Apart from the FASDEP 3, which is yet to be published. If you are able to include it in our policy, it's not about just mentioning it. And that is all that we are seeking to achieve. Okay, so it's about resource use efficiency. How we can cut down on the use of external inputs. Okay, so if agroecology has been identified in this policy document, then you ask yourself, okay, if agroecology is one of the interventions, what is it about? Okay, and from policy, we develop our plans, medium-term plans. So if we have this as one of the interventions, we can develop a project or a program, what we call program. From program, then you get to project. So it's in that order. So the most important thing is having it in our parent policy. Okay, and that has been the cry.
If we're going to change our farming system, then we need the right policies. And that's where, if government, you don't get the right government policies, it doesn't support it. Right now, we know government is being influenced by the external world, particularly by the so-called developed world. They are the people producing all the chemicals that we use in agriculture. And they need market for it. What is the market? The market is of the smaller countries like Ghana. And so they put policies that push government to adopt chemical agriculture. You know, for example, you are taking a loan, and the loan is on the condition that you are taking chemicals. You know, so policy is very important. And if we can get governments that understand the real impacts of the industrial agriculture, they would go in for it, and then it'll have a negative effect on us.
Our food system is geared towards the commercial aspects rather than the humanitarian aspect. Food used to be a right. Now the world is as if food is not a right anymore. We're now bothered with other kinds of rights, but the right to have healthy food is a right that each individual, each family deserves that right. So there's a lot of politics around food. We're not understanding the full implications of what we're doing and how it will affect our welfare and that of future generations to come. So a country that is thinking about agroecology is a country that cherishes organic food. And if you cherish organic food, you should ask yourself why in Europe and in the West, organic food costs more than conventional food. It's because there's an added value. There's a quality you are paying for. That's why you pay more for a Mercedes-Benz than you pay for a Kia. Remember when we were young, your mother would tell you palm nut oil is good for your eyes. Why? because it contains beta-carotene. Why is it come back now? Because that's always been the healthiest oil. But now we have been eating hydrogenated fats. I don't want to name the brands, and we have the lifestyle diseases. The high blood pressure, the cardiovascular disease is from the kind of oils we're eating. So this is a lesson that you don't follow blindly, and our policy is upside down. So in Ghana, it is cheaper for you to import chicken from Brazil than it is for a Ghanaian farmer to produce chicken in Ghana. It's cheaper by the policy, the way the policy makers have made it. It's cheaper for you to bring old rice from Vietnam than it is for a farmer in the Volta region to grow rice, healthy brown rice for you. So we want to encourage Ghanaians to save local seeds and to start planting and farming without chemicals. If you think it's cheap, when they say weed the farm, they say, hey, who am I going to pay to weed my farm? All the young people have left. Then try pouring the condem on your farm 2-3 seasons and see if that farm can produce food in 2 years. Then you'll tell me which one is cheaper to do, weeding with the Klante or pouring the chemical and condemning your land.
While he continues to literally reap the benefits of agroecology, Mr. Nate believes that the concept will help feed the nation with better and healthier food.
One thing is that with agroecology, the crops does not spoil on time. I'm yet to experience that. And let's say something like tomato or pepper. They don't spoil on time. As the days roll by or away, the product rather becomes harder and harder. And they taste better in terms of the sweetness or whatever. It tastes better. If I have a corn here, right now that is matured, and somebody has a chemical farm over here, we can harvest some from his farm. I can harvest, let's roast it. Let's start eating small here, small here. Then we are the good judges. Which one tastes better? Somebody doing chemicals like population growing. When population grows, we should take care of the population very well. You can plant 10 acres, and what will be the result? I can plant 4 or 5 acres. Then the result from the chemical farm, the result from the agroecology, let's compare. We are doing comparison in terms of the yield from the farms. We are doing in terms of taste, lifespan, and what have you. Let's do all these things before we know what to do.
To continue to realize agroecology's potential, it will be important to promote and scale up ongoing deliberative, inclusive, and cross-sector policies. As the American environmental activist, cultural critic, and farmer Wendell Berry puts it, a sustainable agriculture is one which depletes neither the people nor the land. Rebekah, the Fourth Estate.